how was your new year? At the beginning of a new year, I thought it would be fun to start a new little monthly illustration series. So, let's. Oh, hang on. Something doesn't look quite right. Let me just. Ah, there we go. Hello, my name is Jade, and I like to paint with pixels. This feels so weird, but I thought it would be fun to film the drawing process of these illustrations in real time. And this is gonna be a way longer video than usual, but I hope it gives some nice sort of background noise, some background vibes for if you guys wanted to draw along with me. So grab your sketchbook, whatever drawing utensils you use, and we'll jump on into it. This is gonna be very chill in terms of like editing. Maybe not the audio, because oh man, this is gonna be a long audio. But yeah, I thought it would be nice to just have sort of a more chit-chat video. I have some notes of like the sort of things that I want to talk about, but yeah, think of this as like sort of a mini podcast, kinda. I don't know. We're just trying new things out. It's a new year. Let's try new things. But yeah, I thought I would explain why I wanted to do a draw with me in real time. And the main reason is because I make a lot of reels, and so far on this channel I've made a lot of time lapses as well. And that always shows the process sort of chopped down by a lot if it's a reel, because oh man, you gotta cut those down to fit the normal time frame of a reel. Or they're sped up by a lot if it's a time lapse. Like I think sometimes I speed it up by like 10 times, 15 times the speed, which seems crazy to me. So yeah, I thought it would be nice to show sort of the full process, bar me pausing and resuming the recording to make these clips easier to upload for me to edit and put together. But yeah, this is gonna be very chill, just real time doodling. So the first one of these might be a little rocky in places. It's definitely, I've put the clips together before I started recording this just to see how, you know, how long the voiceover should be roundabout, and oop, it is way longer than I thought. So there might be a couple of pauses just to chill and vibe to the music, because I don't think I will be able to talk for an hour straight when most of my videos have been 10 minutes, maybe less. So bit of trial and error with this, but I hope you enjoy. So, last month, gosh, I should really say last year now, which, oh man, I'm still writing the date wrong. I write the date every day in my journal and I'm still writing 2023. But hey ho. Last year, I started a little art planner for myself and I made a cute little banner for it. I was actually really happy with it. I really liked how it turned out. But there was a small problem. That problem is that I wasn't using it as much as I wanted to, or really at all. I tried to use it for a couple days, and then I just didn't go back to it. And I think the biggest thing that sort of stopped me from using it, was that I was giving myself almost too many options, if that makes sense. So I use Notion quite a lot for personal stuff. I have my journal on it. I've been keeping for like almost 3 years. I write down a bunch of to-do lists, any ideas that I have. I use it for D&D as well to keep track of everything that's going on and build out a world for that. And I use it for creative stuff as well. Like, I schedule out my videos using it. And I think because I already have a planner for personal stuff, trying to add a whole other planner in a completely separate space was just like too much for my brain to use both planners. So I think I just need to keep it to one planner. And to keep it to one planner, it's just gonna be like most of my personal stuff that I don't feel too comfortable sharing on YouTube. I want to keep like personal life and art stuff as separate as I can. Obviously they'll blend in when personal stuff affects the art, but yeah, for the most part I want to keep those pretty separate. So I've kind of revamped the idea, or just sort of I'm redoing the idea. So I mentioned last year, getting it right, I mentioned it last year that I wanted to focus on art around my little characters that I've been drawing on Instagram, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to practice drawing those characters and sort of introduce some of those characters each month to you. So tentative plan for now is each month I'll make a little illustration with a theme relating to that month. So for January, since it's the season of reflection and goal setting, I thought it would be nice to have some of my characters having a cute little scrapbooking session together, and have it so that they are sort of reflecting on 2023 and, have some little Polaroids that they're sticking in the book. And then on the wall they have sort of like a vision board, I guess, of 2024 and what they're looking forward to and what they want to do in the new year. And honestly, this feels like such a cute thing to do in real life. Like, I kind of want to have a little scrapbooking session with my pals, and we just talk about like what we're looking forward to in the new year, and what we thought, how we thought 2023 went, and stuff like that, and just keep it real chill and nice. But yeah, it sounds like a fun thing to do. I don't know if is it too late? I mean, it's the 7th day of the year. I don't think it's too late. I know a lot of people have sort of the goals and stuff set out before the new year starts so that, like, you can hit the ground running. But I always find that I sort of spend the entire of January trying to figure everything out and sort of get my stuff in order for the rest of the year. It only takes me about a month, and that's totally fine. But yeah, with this, I wanted to sort of give myself the opportunity to try and do some of those bigger illustrations that I've been wanting to do from last year. I didn't expect it would take me this long to do one of them, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll get quicker as I get more used to drawing at this scale, because as I've said before, I draw these characters quite a lot. On Instagram, they were like my focus, or one of my focuses for the week daily doodles that I did for the first 100. I can't believe I'm saying this. For the first 100 drawings I've done, a lot of them were revolving around these characters. And with those drawings, the canvas size was kind of small, not massively small, but it was 100 by 100, and I stuck with that, and still do, for all of my week daily doodles, because it feels like a manageable thing to do each day. But because this is once a month, I thought I would like scale it up a bit more, and I've been doing these other illustrations that are 250 by 250 pixels, and those are my like flower drawings that I do for my alphabet superset challenge, my bigger project that I've been doing, and I've been really enjoying those, and I like the size of the canvas for those illustrations, so I thought that might be a good point to start with for this drawing as well. So I think this drawing is around the same size, either 250 or 256 by 256. But I think because this has way more colors in the drawing, my flower drawings are just mainly a few different shades of grey. I think that extra options of colors, it makes me take way longer on the drawing because I'm having to make a lot more decisions on the color palette and how to use the color palette, because I don't really want to introduce new colors with it. I want to try and challenge myself to use the colors that are already in the palette, and that can be sometimes a little tricky to get right. And I think you'll see in this that like the background, like the main background of the Polaroid, is something that I swap around a couple times to just try and figure out what I'm vibing with. I think I stick with the first color that I pick, but hey ho, it's sort of how my brain's processing how the colors would work and what would work well. But yeah, as I say, I think that whole process will get quicker to do and won't take as long, because I'll get more familiar with how the palette works, and hey, I might introduce some new colors here and there. I know there's not a lot of reds in this palette, and I think I want to try and add a few more reds, maybe blues. There's a lot of greens, I know that. But yeah, I think it's an evolving palette, and I'll just get more used to like the combinations that work and what doesn't work, and sort of just go with the flow with that. But yeah, because it's a bigger illustration, I wanted it to still be something that I draw, something that's familiar to me. So I really like the idea of framing all of these illustrations, like all 12 of them, in some sort of Polaroid, because that's sort of a motif or a frame that I use for quite a few of my drawings that I've done in the past, especially with these characters. And yeah, I feel like it's a really nice one for a monthly drawing as well, because Polaroids they capture memories and it's quite nostalgic. So I think it'll be a nice way to frame each of these drawings as well. I just realized I haven't introduced these characters, even though you have seen them a couple times, but I thought for the first drawing, I'd do two characters. The first two characters that I made, as well. The first one being a bear called Fern. She's a cute bean. I wanted her personality to be really friendly, but a little bit clumsy. But obviously means no harm in any way with her clumsiness. She's just like a very good-hearted bean. And that's like the main vibe for her. She's a very good egg. And the other character is Lulu, and they are like best of friends. And I feel like Lulu is a bit more calm, and it sort of balances out both of their vibes. And yeah, this is one thing that I sort of have been developing over time, is I guess sort of like their personalities for the characters. I think I mentioned this in my Peachtober video because I was drawing them a lot then. It meant that I could, what's the word? I guess develop. I could develop their personalities a bit more in the stories that I told in the drawings that I made. Wow, that's a sentence. But yeah, I think she's very calm, likes to drink tea and read, and they care about each other, and they really cherish their friendship. I think I would love to do like a little sort of character profile for each of my characters. I've made quite a few, but I've always wanted to create like this group of friends that have their own like sort of little world that I could build out, and you know, they visit local places that they always like to go to, like the blueberry cafe that I made in one of my Peachtober drawings, one of the two, but the drawing that I made for that, I'd love to develop that into like a few more different drawings of them hanging out and having coffee and having cake, and yeah, just like having recognizable places that they go to and sort of build out this like little town that they're in. I think would be really fun. I don't know if I'm not gonna set that as like a big goal for 2024. We already have way too many goals, but I think it's definitely something I want to do in the future. And I think the things that I'm doing, or the goals that I've set in 2024, will sort of help me build towards that as a longer term goal. Because also I still think I need to figure out the characters a bit more and figure out their personality, and I think those character profiles could be really good for that. So yeah, that's something. I'm gonna write that down right now. Another thing I wanted to chat about was the December goals that I set for myself. But yeah, I hope that December was restful for you and you had a chill time. I wrote already sort of my reflections of the whole year in like a post on YouTube. I don't know how the community posts work. Like, I don't know how well broadcasted they are, but a TLDR is I was really happy with 2023 in terms of like creatively. I feel like it's the most creative I've been in terms of making art and developing my art and pixel art, and was very happy with it. But for December, it was also pretty good creatively. I started to learn how to draw portraits, and those have sort of become my new focus for the week daily doodles, so I do a little study every day, and I've been really enjoying it so far, which I never thought I would say when it comes to drawing portraits, because oh boy, have I tried and failed multiple times to try and draw and learn how to draw portraits. But I think next week's video is going to be me talking a lot more about that whole process and the sort of reflections, I guess, that I have on how it's gone so far and what I want to do moving forward with it. So yeah, look forward to that. Another goal that I had for December was to do one video a month? To do one video a week. And though I only got 3 of the 4 videos out, because by the end of the year, I just didn't have enough time before I went away for like a little holiday, I guess. But I'm still really happy with the videos that I did make. I feel like I'm starting to get used to the process of making videos. Like I'm slowly but surely sort of finding a flow with how I want my videos to look, and obviously it's still developing over time. But for particular types of videos, like the sketchbook tours, I feel like I'm slowly making a workflow for myself to make those future sketchbook tours easier and hopefully better each time I make them. So it feels good to have a little bit of progress on that front. Speaking of goals, I feel like this would be a good place to talk about my goals for January, which mostly revolve around getting stuff in order, which I think is just my theme for January in general, for both personal and creative stuff. But one thing that I want to do is try to plan more in advance for my videos. So I've been doing this sort of already in the past week, the first week of the year. Oh my gosh, how has it already been 7 days? Okay, yeah, I've been doing it for the first week of the year, and I think it's helped me a lot just to figure out what work will go into the next goal, which is to just work on my videos a little bit each day rather than working on them just on the weekend, because it's doable but it is not sustainable, and I want to make this as sustainable as possible in terms of how much work it is to do, and because this isn't the only thing that I do as well. Like, I have my full-time job. Yeah, I have to make sure that I'm not burning myself out with it. So that is the second goal. Ooh, I think also, I guess this is sort of a sub-goal, but it's to basically help with the working on it a little bit each day. I have started to do like I don't know what this is called. I guess like a practice of writing about 1,000 words each day, which sounds very specific and a bit odd, but I think the word count isn't as important as like the act of just writing each day. It's similar to the week daily doodles and just sort of building that habit of drawing each day, I kind of want to do the same with writing. And I'm not much of a writer at all. Like I'm not really writing a bunch of stories or like blogs or anything like that, but I find it really useful as a way to sort of brainstorm ideas, and that could be for a lot of things. It could be for YouTube videos. I did the exact thing for writing up some of my topics for what I wanted to talk about in this. It can be also about the flower project. I use it to sort of brainstorm what I want the flower of the week to be, its name, its purpose, the script for the little reel that I do each week, which will be starting up next week as well. And I already have an idea for the next week's flower. Let's go. But yeah, and also it also helps me with just like even D&D, because I DM a campaign for my buds, and I use those 1,000 words to just sort of brainstorm how I think characters will react to their goals for like the next session, or what I think I need to prepare for the next session. Things like that are very useful for me to just write down, because I'm very prone to having it all just stay in my head and it's not useful. They're fighting for what I should focus on between all the ideas. So having them written out helps a ton, and I think trying to keep up this daily writing of 1,000, even if it isn't 1,000 words, that's like the ideal situation. But even if I just write a bit each day, I think will help a ton in the ways that I mentioned before, D&D, flower project, but also working a little bit each day on the YouTube videos. I think it'll help a lot with that as well. And the final goal, keeping it a 3, rules of 3, I feel like it works well for goals as well, is to have a big declutter and reorganize the stuff on my computer, because I only got this computer a few months ago, and it is already getting messy, and I don't know how this happened. But I'm like not completely losing files like they're being deleted, but I'm losing track of where my drawings are that I want to like reuse in these videos, for example, to give a point of reference to, and having to resend them to myself on Discord. It's just very time consuming. But actually, side note, does anyone else do this where they have their own little like Discord server, just them, or just for themselves, but you're able to like send files and like photos and videos between your phone and your computer quicker? Because that's what I use it for, and honestly it's really useful, but as long as the files aren't too big, I find it very, very useful. But quick tip, if you don't already and you already use Discord, it's pretty good for file transfer. But yes, it's also not the most ideal in terms of when the files are already on your PC and you just can't find them, and it's quicker to resend them to yourself. I need to fix that. And the way that I should fix it is just by giving it a good old sort out and try and figure out a good filing system for both my work and my art, and especially like video assets and music and sound effects that I reuse, I sort of need to find a good way to organize that and be able to quickly get to it every time I start editing a video. I think it'll make that process a lot easier and faster, which is always a good thing. It's funny because I'm watching the recording that I did for this draw with me, and I can sort of tell that I'm a bit more nervous, which feels really silly to sort of say or notice, but I think because with reels and with time lapses, especially time lapses that are just sort of a screen recording of my drawing, it feels a bit more, I don't know what the right word is, but I think I'm just like a bit more nervous because you can see all of the sort of mistakes that I make and all the undos and all the going back and forth, but I also think that that is something that's quite interesting to see someone else's process. I really enjoy watching draw with me's that are sort of a real time, you see the entire process, because yeah, I think it shows a bit more of where the artist's mind is at when they're drawing this. I'm a bit nervous in this, but I think it does show. It shows as well because I dot around a lot to like different to draw and focus on different areas where normally I wouldn't do that, but I think because, I don't know, I was just like focusing on finishing the drawing, my brain was just like, okay, what's the next step? And what's the next step? Because everything was being recorded, it kind of made it a bit more difficult. Not like not enjoyable, like I still really enjoyed drawing this, but I think because it's sort of like you're being watched as you draw, yeah, I think I just drew, like, my process was a little different, and I think that will get not easier, but I think it'll I guess be a bit more natural in future videos where I'm a bit more used to the process of a draw with me and like recording the entire process, because I think it's important to document as well. I think it's nice to look back at this and see like, oh, these are sort of the colors that I use, this is how I approached a bigger drawing like this. Yeah, I think it'll be nice to look back at in the future. Future me can tell me whether that's true or not. This bookcase was really tricky at the start. I didn't know what color I wanted to make the bookcase. I was debating around having like just a regular wooden brown bookcase, but then I thought it's gonna blend in with the back of Fern's head, and this is one of those moments where the color palette, and because it's somewhat limited, you start to have to make decisions of like, okay, what will stand out or contrast well with like the main focus of the drawing. So I thought, even though the hat is yellow, I thought a yellow bookcase be quite a good choice for this. And also it's just like going back to their personalities. I think it's I imagine that this is like Fern's place that they're doing this little scrapbooking session, and having quite fun and bright furniture, I feel like that would be her vibe. So yeah, it kind of plays a little bit into what the characters are like themselves and their personalities as well. It's funny looking at the drawing the books. It reminds me of the bookcase that I did for one of the Peach-tobers as well. I think I just did the same approach. That might be yellow as well. Maybe it was like a subconscious decision to be like, ooh, a nice little cheeky callback to a previous drawing. I don't know. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But it's nice because I don't think they'll be very noticeable unless someone has seen a lot of the drawings I did last year, but it was nice to add a couple of almost like little Easter eggs, I guess. Especially with the little Polaroids in the scrapbook, the 2023 little section. I tried to, with the very few pixels that I had, might I add, it was like, I don't know, 10 pixels, but I tried to include a couple of the little Polaroids that I've done in the past. So one of my favorite ones where they're all wearing the different parts of the woolly set, the hat, the gloves, and the scarf. I try to make that little Polaroid, and I think another one that was like from December where it was very snowy and a few of them are wearing different hats that one of my other characters made. And yeah, I think it's nice to just like hide those in there, and even if it's not like recognizable to a lot of people, it's nice to recognize them yourself and like in the future be able to see them and be like, oh, I remember this, and oh, this is cute, this is from past drawings a while back. I was really debating on what to do with these books because they felt quite flat, but I didn't know how to make them a bit more three-dimensional. I tried cutting off corners on the top. I didn't really love that, and I think I just like sort of left it for a little bit and just moved on to something else. Yeah, I do the little shelf. I was struggling to figure out what to put in the background for this drawing. It took me a little bit to sort of figure out the vibe. I knew I wanted to have a table in the center to have Fern and Lulu, you know, scrapbooking, having a good time. But the background elements, I wanted them to be cohesive, but not to take too much attention away from the central characters and that 2023-2024 sort of scrapbooking session. But I still wanted it to tell a little bit of a story behind the characters as well, so that they like to, you know, they like to take care of plants and they like to read. Just like, yeah, very small details. One thing that I think I could have improved with this drawing is perspective. I like the perspective of the characters and like having Fern hold the Polaroid camera as they take it. I think it's I think that works really well. The part that I think could be improved is the background, mainly because of the angle of the bookshelf and the shelf is quite flat in comparison to Fern tilting the camera up. I think, technically speaking, you'd be able to see like the tops of the books and the top of the shelf, like even very slightly. I'm trying to imagine it now and I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you would. So just to like give it a bit more of a 3-dimensional look, I think it would help if I kind of adjusted the background to fit that angle as well. I think that's something that will just improve over time. I haven't done a lot of perspective drawings, and I think with these larger drawings with the characters in will push me to try and improve on that. Again, it's one of those things where I want to get better at it, but it probably won't be a focus for this year, just because there's too many things. There are too many things I want to focus on. So I want to be both mindful and smart with what I'm focusing on, so that hopefully it'll help with future goals and like kind of putting me in a good setting for that as well. I think that's one of the benefits with this, is that I can still get the opportunity to practice these things, even if it's not a main focus. It can be something that I can look into while I'm drawing these, and especially when I'm starting out the sketches as well, just trying to be mindful of how I want to compose a shot, and also just using like real life references as well. Like, I have a Polaroid camera myself, and I can kind of see, especially the background I think is the main thing that I struggle with when it comes to perspective, but then I can see sort of where or how the background looks in relation to like the angle that I hold the camera. I think that'll be a useful exercise, just to like look back at photos that I've taken and see how to replicate that perspective to make it a bit more realistic and a bit more like it's a 3D setting as well. With the central sort of area with the 2024 mood board, I guess is what I'm calling it, I wanted it to be sort of not heavily goal focused of like, or I guess like self-development goals, but just more of like a bucket list of things that I think that the characters would want to do. So for a few of them, a lot of them are like around trips and things like places to go and activities to do. I think I drew a forest to go on more nature walks, and flowers because they wanted to get in the gardening last year. I kind of want that to continue on into the new year. And the beach as well. And it's kind of nice little callbacks to what they did in the last year, but also to, I guess, say that they want to do it again this year and do more of it. I don't know. Maybe this is all just like a little mini vision board for myself and things that I want to do, because I would also like to go to the coast more and go on some more walks in the forest and stuff like that. So maybe this was, again, subconscious me was like, hey, this is a great time to make your own vision board out of tiny pixels. I don't know. To be fair, these are tiny pixel art pieces. I'm trying to measure them out now. It's like 10 by 10, 16 by 16 max? I don't know. That's something I would like to improve. I have plans for future videos on it, but drawing small sprites, I would love to get better at. For a number of reasons, but I think it's one of the first things that's sort of suggested to people who want to start pixel art is to start small and sort of get a feel for how to simplify objects, because it is a really useful exercise in simplification, which is, I feel like, the whole thing for pixel art. And yeah, I didn't skip it per se, but I definitely didn't spend enough time doing it, and yeah, just experimenting with smaller sprites. I've made a couple for my Twitch stream. I have my sub badges and also emotes as well, and I'd like to improve my skills with it so that I can get better at drawing emotes and stuff like that. I think what I'm trying to draw here is a paintbrush, and like wanting to do art more. I have a few ideas of like little illustrations of the gang doing like a drawing class together or like a pottery class, and I think this was my little Polaroid to be like, be more creative, but in 20 pixels or less. This is the one that I mentioned before about doing forest walks, because I have like a few, you know, you have like a couple of compositions in mind, and like I've jotted them down, they're on paper somewhere, but I never got back to them. Maybe this is just a big ol' vision board for myself of like a reminder of all the drawings I've had in my mind of what I want to draw, and then I just never got back to them. That's what this is for. But I'm pretty happy with how these look for how small the pixel size is. Not a lot of pixels to work with, but I feel like it still is recognizable for what I wanted them to look like. for this one, this is quite nice because it's like a little callback to one of the first drawings I did of Fern and Lulu. And it's when they went on a picnic, and I want it to be like a little basket with a picnic blanket. And I tried to draw some flowers, but they're way too big, so then I ended up just doing little dots for the flowers. And I think that 1 pixel size flowers, it works for this scale. But yeah, I don't want to make it a yearly thing, but also I think it'd be cute to have them have like a little picnic session. This one was adventurous. I wanted to make it look like dice, like tabletop dice. Like the triangle's meant to be a D4 and the square is just meant to be a D6, because past me at least knew I wasn't gonna fit a D20 on a 10 by 10 grid, but I could not get these to work for the life of me. So I think eventually I changed them in the end, but I do have like an idea for a bigger project relating to D&D and these characters, but that's like far in the future. But I wanted it to still be sort of noted down in a way here, because I think it would be quite cute if they, I don't know, did something tabletop games related. But yeah, I think that's one of those goals that in the future would be more useful or more attainable to the standard that I want to hit with it, if I put in the work for other goals like learning perspective drawing and getting used to drawing bigger scale. I think that would help with the idea that I had for that. And this final Polaroid is, I wanted it to be like a little, I guess selfie? Selfie of all the characters that I have so far in a like cute little format, and I wanted to draw a heart. That wasn't happening. It's okay. But I realized I only had 9 pixels to work with for each of them, so it is barely recognizable, but I still think it's quite cute. And because it's zoomed out so far, you can kind of get the vibes. Kind of, sort of. But yeah, I would, even though there are, is it 5? 6? I think it's 6 characters now. Is it? Oh, wait. It's hard to keep track of whether I've shared some of the characters or not already. I don't know, but I would like to still expand the group eventually. We've hit the stage where I'm starting to just add in like final details and trying to make the space look a bit more 3-dimensional. So like adding shadows to all of the little fairy lights, and also to behind the characters as well, to make them a bit fit into the space a bit more. I think I have talked y'all's ears off more than enough, and I'm gonna let the rest of the video pan out and you can see the rest of the process and enjoy the chill vibes. And yeah, I'll see you at the end of the drawing. And there we have it, our drawing for January. I hope you've enjoyed this longer style video, a bit more chit-chatty. Let me know what you think about this format and if there's any ways I can improve it or any topics you guys want me to talk about. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one. Take care out there. Goodbye.